Welcome back, everybody. It is time for us to continue with our interviews this morning on the Now Morning Show. We were chatting now with Ambassador Nickocy Phillips. Yeah, a lot of work being done. I understand that they were in Afghan recently and doing some work there. Nickocy, good morning.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. What have you been up to?
Well, so far, I just received, just 2 days ago, received a email with them thanking me and showing me an article that where I represented Trinidad and Tobago youth in the Afghan meeting, and were the questions that I would have asked the president and the ambassadors of Afghan women about the hijab, where while I was live streaming, one of the youths asked me to ask why the women wear the hijab on their head, and they responded. And I also asked about why they speak about international media degrading the country, what laws do they have in place. So they did an article on me and Trinidad and Tobago and the youth in regards to our participation with the Afghan meeting. And it's worldwide now. It's all over the place. I am very shocked, and I'm glad that Trinidad and Tobago is now recognized and known in Afghanistan. So that's one. Right now I'm winding down because next week Friday on the 11th, I will be going to New York for the Youth Leadership Summit. I was asked by the Department of New York City, Youth Department, to put up a booth, also to lecture to the youth in regards to the youth programs we're having in Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago Youth Will Rise. So I will be setting up a booth in regards to that. I have also contacted the Consular General's office at the United Nations in New York. So I request some items like flags and banners, because I do not have any of those information leaflets. So I contacted them, so they are willing to help me to make sure I represent Trinidad and Tobago very well at this Youth Leadership Summit.
Nickocy, what are you going to tell these youth?
Well, I'm going to tell them about the programs that we have, some of the things that we have and the rules and regulations we have in our schools, because I also met with the Pikesville Precinct Police officers, and there are programs that they have. They have officers in schools, and they told me a lot in regards to the officers that have visited the school. Those are special officers that are trained to deal with the children in school, and they are placed at the school from morning till evening. There's a joint program where the same program that we're trying to adapt in Tobago by building this youth rehabilitation facility. The program is called Joins, where that if a youth is disturbing in school, they're going to come to this correctional officer, and they're going to be doing community service work. They're going to be cleaning, they're going to be painting. Instead of punishing them or sending them to YTC and stuff, they're going to have programs. So I'm going to be talking about our youth programs, the Your Heart Tiki programs, our food social programs at Trinidad and Tobago Youth Will Rise. So most of the youth programs and the participation I have with the Division of Sports and the programs that they have, I'm going to be interacting and showing in some of these programs, so to see how we could do a cultural exchange with our programs in Trinidad and Tobago and the programs here at the United States.
But what is the message that you would want to send to these youth, though?
The message is that I would like to send to them is put down the guns. War is not the answer, and there's always a solution to crime. But we all have to work together, and we all must speak out. That is what we need to do, speak out. Let the voices of the youth be heard, and I'm calling on all the leaders and all the persons in authority. You have to start to listen to the youth. Sit down one-on-one with them. We're sending somebody to a meeting and giving them what you want. No, listen. You take the information and try to put it together and see what the youth. It is time we start representing the interests of the youth in how it should be, and put aside the politics, put aside the rhetoric, and let us start representing the youth in the interests that they're supposed to be represented by.
Why do you think the voice of the youth isn't given much respect?
Because we think that the youth are failing, we think that the youth are failures, we think that, that's the youth and them going through. No, that's not the problem. It's our behavior. Look at the behaviors in Parliament. Look at our ministers and how they react and how they call out each other. if somebody is going into politics, they're degrading their families. The attitudes of the adults is reflecting on the youth today, and that is something that they need to stop. We need to stop, because some of the programs that I've listed in some of these meetings, these people here were shocked to see some of the programs we have here and some of the rules that we have. And they're saying it's more strict than what they have here in Baltimore, because, for example, if a youth is misbehaving, the youngest youth that is actually misbehaving, she's 13 years old, and she has 45 things against her name, car theft, thief, robbery, and she's just 13 years old and that's 45 things. So we have to start listening. The youth are the ones who want to lead this country. The youth are the future, and without that respect to them, yes, we know things are not going good. Yes, we know there's a lot of crime, but at the end of the day, a 14-year-old youth cannot just buy a gun just like that.
Yeah, but Nickocy,
Nickocy,
there is the belief that the youth is a reflection of the society, and they are just portraying what they see and what they believe to be right, because the older people are doing it. How do we get the older people though to change how they carry about themselves to set a better example for the youth? And you referenced politicians, rightfully so, because a lot of times people listen to politicians and young people attend political meetings, and they degrade each other. How do we get the older people then to set that example?
Look in the mirror and stop judging each other. Stop judging each other, and we have to do a lot of retrospect in terms of looking at what we have from inside the country and stop trying to adapt what's outside. Start marketing the youth properly. Give the youth the opportunity. I keep on saying a youth parliament. We're having too much mock youth parliaments. Let us start to have a real youth parliament where these issues and these bills that are passed for the youth are discussed by all NGO leaders or all youth leaders, so that at least whatever laws that are put in place, it comes from the voice of the youth. And there's a lot. We have to start connecting the youth to the adults, and stop treating them like if they are not a voice, and stop using them for politics. So a lot of work has to be done, and we must try to start to give credit to all the NGOs and the persons who are one-on-one with the youth in these communities, these at-risk communities. Because when I go to some of the meetings, it's very hard for me to answer some of the questions. I'm seeing people pulling up schools, this Trinidad and Tobago. Isn't this in Trinidad and Tobago? Why is this school there? Where is the teachers? And I can't answer. I'm so ashamed sometimes, but I know how to get out of it. And I'm saying, this is just a little mishap. We know how to deal with it. We have ways because they showed me a video where a child was smoking, and I had to get out of that. But at the end of the day, we need to do a retrospect on what we do and how we say things in front of the students, and how we adapt to them. And the adults need to start, paying a keen attention into the interest of the youth.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning, talking about some of the work that you are doing, and also, sharing some advice, not just for the youth, but also for the older people. So thank you very much once again, Ambassador Nickocy Phillips, for joining us there via Skype. Carrie.